This is Rain Jordan with AKR Magazine, and I am here with the incredibly talented guitarist Ben Misterka, who happens to live right here in the beautiful and lively San Francisco Bay Area. So, Ben Misterka is an amazingly versatile and innovative artist who's not afraid to get out of his comfort zone. He loves to play across genres. He is a band leader, a highly esteemed and sought after session player, a composer, a writer, and he's played with a plethora of acclaimed musicians and bands from around the world, from popular hip-hop artists such as Lyrics Born to R&B star Guapale, to collaborations with drummer Tommy Igoe and key bassist Kevin Wang, to opening up for Larry Graham at Shanghai Stadium in China, and more. And he is also the long-standing band leader for the dynamic jazz funk fusion band Collectivity, which often has a rotation of renowned players. Ben has also toured around the country and the world, playing at some of the most coveted venues, from arenas to major festival venues and intimate clubs. We will get into all of this and more as Ben Misterka and I sit down for an unscripted, chill, but I'm sure a very insightful interview together. And to my surprise and delight, Ben has brought his guitar with him. So hopefully we can hear a little something from his brand new upcoming solo album toward the end of this interview. So stay tuned. I am super excited to interview Ben. It's been a long time coming. So here we go. I'm super excited. I've been looking forward to this interview for probably about a year now, right?
I have been too.
Yeah. So I know, I'll just an introduction to how I know you and what the connection is. Yeah. So I met Ben, or I heard him play several times or many times over the last year and a half at Peter Barron's Backyard Improv, which is a sort of a jazz series, a jazz concert series in the San Francisco Bay Area. And the moment that I remember the very first time, and I think it was actually right next door in the backyard next door to us. I remember when I heard you play for the first time, and I was immediately attracted to your tone of your guitar.
Oh, thank you. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, and like the tone was just, to me, incredibly distinctive, first of all, and attractive to me. And as you played, I also loved not only how you played, but the essence behind how you were playing. And it was like immediately I felt like it was a sort of a transformative vibe, if you know what I mean. Like I felt that in my heart, you know. And I love music that kind of goes beyond the ordinary to some degree, and that's what I felt about your music. And at the time, at the time I was doing a series, and I still am. It was for AKR Magazine, which is called A Higher Love, and it's a series on artists and creatives that are that have a sort of a higher intention behind their music. And I have to be moved by an artist in order to interview them, because I can't write well without that kind of inspiration. And so I immediately wanted to interview you, and I contacted you. And there are a couple of things that cascaded during that time that, for whatever reason, the interview got bumped or whatever it was. But it happens. It happens. Yeah. But here we are, and I'm super excited to finally have this opportunity to interview you and find out a little bit more about the artist, the person, the spirit behind your music. Because, first of all, I'd love for other people to hear you. Yeah, and to really give them an opportunity to get a sampling of what your gifts are, So here we are. So let's rock and roll, and I'll start with the first question.
Right on.
All right.
That's really kind of you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All true.
Right
All right, yeah. So this is a pretty common first question, but I think it's probably everyone's curiosity as well, which is, how did you start playing the guitar? When and how did that happen?
Sure. So I started playing the guitar when I was about 12, mainly just kind of with friends. All my friends, there was like guitars in our friend group, and we were all into music from an early age. But I started playing the viola when I was, I guess I was in 5th grade. So that was, I don't know how old I was, maybe 10. And that was my first instrument. And then so about 12, 13, 7th, 8th grade or so, I started playing the guitar. And yeah, it was, I found this guitar in my garage that was my dad's old Fender, what are those called? Fender Mustang, or I can't remember the name of the guitar right now, but it was this old guitar that he had that I found. And I remember when I was like maybe 9 or so, I remember like taking it out and like just kind of hitting the strings in a rhythmic way as it was laying flat. And then, and I was like, wow, this is cool. Like, what is this? It probably was super out of tune, and the strings were probably like 20, like who knows how old they were. I'm surprised they didn't just break right there. And then I always forget about that when I say I started playing guitar. But anyway, and so then it kind of came in, and just through friends and borrowing guitars, and then I finally got one. I borrowed one from someone for a little while, and then I got my own Fender Strat, or Squire Strat, my first guitar.
As a teenager, or when?
I was about 12, I guess. I probably got that one when I was 13.
Okay, got it.
And
all right, that's pretty quick,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of carried over, that first kind of interaction with the guitar in the garage, right? So then...
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then what happened from there? You just started playing without lessons, or self-taught, or...
Yeah, I was pretty much self-taught, just from listening to records is how I learned originally. And just from friends and finding stuff, and like tabs weren't really a thing, and like the online guitar community wasn't really quite a thing then. So you learn from listening and from friends and teaching each other riffs, like in your friend's house. And but I had a summer where I was kind of like forced to kind of I was like in a different place, and I had a lot of time to kill, and was in an area where I didn't know anyone, so I got to spend like that whole summer with nothing really to do but play the guitar. Wow. And so now, I didn't like it at the time because I wanted to go like play football with my friends and stuff at the time, but I now realize that was a really good moment, because that kind of got me over that first initial hump, I think.
Of like learning to play, you mean?
Of learning to play. And I was already playing a bit by then. But and so I was self-taught all through there. And and later on I went and studied, at school formally. But I was probably self-taught for 10 years before that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very
Which
cool.
kind of, I think, is good. I mean, you're always going to be self-taught in some way, I think.
Yeah, it's direct experience. You need that, right, to kind of find your way and your relationship to the music, basically. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. So what were some of your influences as you learned to play, and then as you went to school, or you maybe got more formal training or whatever? What, like, whether they were musicians, or whomever, outside influences, social influences, what were influences that kind of shaped your desire to continue playing?
Yeah. I first was learning stuff like that was popular at the time, like Nirvana, Green Day, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. Was like some of the stuff that I was when I first started playing guitar. And that kind of stuff was really influential, because there was a lot of guitar in that music. Like Pearl Jam, Nirvana had really cool guitar parts.
Super popular and super focused on during that time as well. It still is, but
but that 90s era,
totally.
and it was really learnable riffs too, and so that was a big influence. But then from there I got into like Zeppelin was my first band that I would was just nuts over. And had the posters and everything, and I was way into Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, and then like at the same time Hendrix. I mean, Hendrix, I'd have to go. I mean, most people would say it, but I is my probably my top. I just always come back to that, and I keep going back and going through the catalog and like learning new stuff and finding new things about Jimi Hendrix. And so a lot of that stuff, all the classic rock, especially the like late 60s, early 70s stuff, psychedelic stuff. And then from there, that kind of led me to some more jammy based stuff. I listened to, I got into Grateful Dead for a little bit from that, and then kind of during that same time I still was listening. It kind of led me to jazz with the improvisational element included in rock, which then I found Wes Montgomery, which was a little bit later for me, and then that opened up this whole world that really spoke to me big time, and then started really digging in and studying that, and then ended up going and playing a lot and studying a lot of jazz. Okay. And then that kind of was a bit, and then fusion and everything in between.
Yeah, so the world of music is so large if you're willing to kind of move past the genre boundaries, right?
Yeah.
But it's cool that you have a rock foundation. Yeah, because I definitely hear that in your music.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but I also hear, the fusion of jazz and other really world sounds as well. So, yeah, it's like hard to pin who you sound like. You know how we tend to do that because we're always trying to sort of find what's familiar to us instead of just listening, If I just listen to you, you're extremely unique in your approach, So how did you develop your tone? How did that come about? And there's a second part to this. And what part of, and I guess they go together really, what part of your tone and your style of playing has to do with the guitar you play, the gear you use? Yeah, so that whole Ben Misterka kind of signature sound. How did you start to develop
nerdy questions, my favorite.
Sorry.
No worries.
This was my favorite question, actually.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So there's a lot that comes down to it. Like they always say, like the tone is in your fingers. Okay. Which is so true, because somebody else can play your exact same guitar with your same rig and everything, and it sounds different. Or what happens to a lot of us is that you are going to play somebody else's guitar, somebody else's rig, or you get like the Santana signature pedal. And then you're like, how come I don't sound like Santana all of a sudden? And because it really does come from your fingers, and but that said, a lot of it comes from the gear too, because that can completely change. And so I went through many different iterations, and I play a Telecaster a lot of the time, and I think that's kind of what people recognize the most, guitar that I play. And but I love a lot of different guitars. I really love playing a Strat, which is a very different setup of a guitar, and obviously like hollow body 335, depending on the style of music I'm playing. And I think a lot of people that have spent a lot of time as a hired gun as well as an artist and doing their own music, you got to be able to, as a hired gun world, you got to be able to
be versatile
and do what the thing requires. Somebody be like, can you do a country tune with a Moroccan feel in B flat? I got you. And then boom, you got the work, and then also make it cool, make it good, make creative, put your own flavor on that too. So a lot of that stuff, and not to get too technical, but I do find that it makes a big difference, and it's really inspiring. That's the thing, is like a different sound, a different gear can be really inspiring to make you play slightly different. Like I'm going to approach a Telecaster very different than I would like a hollow body 335 or like a Strat even with a trem bar on it. And then or a different pedal, a different amp will make you play differently, which I like to do purposely to lean into, or you might write a part that is based around a certain sound that you find. Yeah. Like if you found a really interesting sound with a delay, that might inspire you to come up with something that's composed for that sound that you may not have found otherwise. And I really like that aspect of it too. There was one other thing I was going to say about that. Shoot, I forgot. Yeah. I could talk about tone all day.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I really do think, like, I notice, like, the very individual things about the way that you use your fingers, about how hard you squeeze the note, about how you bend, and about how you do, like, tremolo and stuff. Yeah. Is really big deal. How you hold the pick, all of that stuff. can kind of like shape your tone as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. And music has so much to offer, especially as you just kind of really critically listen, as a listener and also as the artist, right? You can go so many places with it, Yeah.
I kind of like, a lot of times I want it to be like a crystally kind of chimey thing.
Okay, I was going to ask that.
But if I have,
crystally chimey kind of thing.
Yeah,
I
for
hear
like
that,
for a chordal thing. But
yeah.
a lot of times, like for a more lead tone, it's this certain thing that you can never quite get, though. A lot of people will say that. It's like you're always chasing this thing, and then you think you got it, but you're like, oh, I need a little more low end, and it's not like it's not squishy enough in the right way, and then so you change it, and then you're like, yeah, but I lost that like bite that I had. But I mean, that's what makes it fun.
Oh, right. So you're kind of trying to achieve this like perfect sound or tone that
you will never get
in your imagination that you have.
And if you get it, that would be kind of a bummer.
Right. And then that keeps the chase going.
Right.
Yeah. So do you write and compose most of your own music? I know that you play with a group, collectivity, right?
Yeah.
But on your own, do you dabble in writing and composing and things like that? Or tell me a little bit about you as an artist.
Yeah. So I mean, I've written my whole life. I've kind of learned to play the guitar by writing. That's one thing I think is really important, because since I was self-taught and I just kind of had a guitar and I was listening to records, I would just find chords that sounded cool, like that use open strings, and just mess around and be like, these two things sound cool together. I don't know what it is, but I like it. And so I kind of always have written, and even playing, messing around on the piano that we had around the house, I would just go find chords that sounded good together, or I'd figure out sounds on the guitar that were the same as the piano, and just kind of went that way. And then so composing has been a real big part of my life for a long time. And but and I've, for Collectivity, it is a band that I've been leading for a while, which I write most of the music for, and take a very compositional approach to that, with like horn section and like working with so many different members and stuff.
I got to. Yeah. I haven't heard you live with your band Collectivity, but I definitely want to come to your next show.
Cool.
And
April 12th, Music City.
Yeah,
San Francisco.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And get a chance to hear you with your band, because I've heard you with Peter Barron's Backyard Improv with different configurations of musicians, but not with your band, or you're the band leader, and you're writing the music. I did not know that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Boy, that is a super dynamic band.
Yeah.
Just high energy and fusion, and it's amazing. Yeah. Cool. So I love a high energy kind of experience if it's well done, and I absolutely see that it is. So that was kind of a cool surprise looking through your media. Yeah. So awesome. Yeah. So great. Yeah. What else did you want to say? So that band is, and the third record's coming out soon. We got a new single coming out for that called More Cushion, which is going to be like April 17th. Okay.
That'll be out. Collectivity, More Cushion. And then also releasing music, just more guitar-focused music that's still composed and written by me, but it's a little more like kind of coming from a different influence. The Collectivity stuff comes from a big funk and jazz influence.
It does, yeah.
With the horn band and like super funky, bigger sound, and high energy, like dance party, but still like makes what I like to say is like it's high energy and dance party, but it still make you think.
Yeah, totally. It does have that depth, like deep house,
Yeah,
to me.
Yeah. I love house.
No, me too.
Cool.
Yeah, so it has that vibe kind of,
Right.
Yeah. But you also are working in the studio right now, aren't you?
Yeah. Working in the studio. We just did a session the other day, a couple days ago at Skyline Studios, and that's for my new record coming out, which is just going to be under Ben Misterka, which is kind of a little more in the just guitar-focused community. A little simpler music band arrangement, and kind of more coming from the blues world, and some of that original music that I was saying I was influenced by, like Zeppelin, Hendrix, Pink Floyd, and as well as some Wes Montgomery in there, and some like Boogaloo Joe Jones, and kind of all of that stuff. And that's kind of more written, composed on the guitar.
I love it.
Simpler band, like a trio or quartet on most of the tunes. Yeah.
I like a minimalistic approach too. I love it all.
Right.
You know, I love the whole full spectrum of what's possible in music.
Celebrate
you know?
the entire catalog.
Absolutely, but I love small music too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to your solo album.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
really am, because that's
Yeah.
going to really just give everyone sort of a hit of your tone.
Right on.
And your capacity in a variety of ways, because I think you're an
Yeah.
incredibly versatile player.
Right
yeah,
on.
yeah, you have and also multifaceted, multi-dimensional player as well. So that's going to give you a chance. And even though it's, not, jazz fusion, deep house, it's still as beautiful, So I'm looking forward to that. I can imagine how pretty it's going to be.
Nice, thanks.
So, talk a little bit about your career right now. Like, what are you doing with your music now? We know that you're playing with, you're the band leader for Collectivity. Tell me a little bit about where you guys play, that kind of thing, and what you're doing other than that. Because I know you have something new going on that I saw on social media, and it was kind of like this. I'm like, what is he doing, right? It looked really exciting.
Oh, yeah.
It looked
There's
really
that too.
Yeah,
that's right.
It looked super exciting, and I'm like, wait, he's a DJ, but he's playing the guitar, and there's this like crazy crowd behind him, right?
That has been a really, really fun project. Mixing DJing and guitar, as well as playing some keys on that and some live looping, and doing a mixture of a lot of different things that I love to do. And it's really fun because I have this setup where I can go between DJing and playing live instruments pretty easily, and sometimes I'm just focusing on DJing and like using songs that I love, and then I'll go mix into a loop or mix into just playing guitar, and it's kind of also improvisational. And that's been a really fun project. It's been going well. I have a tour with that up in Northern California at the middle of this month, like 17th through 19th.
Wow.
Going through Tahoe and playing at the KT deck at Palisades, which is like the main deck there. And so that should be really fun.
Wow, that sounds new and innovative. Who thought of that? Is that something new? Did you think of that? And like, what's it called? Is there a name for it?
I'm just going under my name now,
Okay,
but
I love
just
it.
promoting it as my like DJ guitar hybrid shows.
Okay, I love it.
And
That is
but
so
I'm
cool.
working on a couple like more refined names to really solidify it as a project, and I'll let you guys know when that gets solidified.
Oh, I think it's a
because it's a
very
newer endeavor.
cool project.
Oh,
like,
cool! Thank
super
you.
cool.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
I
would
really like
love
it
to
too.
get I would love to have that experience as well.
Yeah.
So I'll have to check you out if I
Yep.
can. Yeah,
We're going to be building that as it comes up. And then there's so much cool stuff right now. I'm just super blessed to get to play with all these amazing musicians, and we have a collectivity show coming up this month, and then after that I go to Tahoe. I have a couple trio gigs around the Bay too.
So talk about your trio gigs too.
Yeah.
They're with.
It's Ben Misterka Trio.
Okay, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And there's one at the Continental Club on the 9th in a couple days. That's a really beautiful spot in Oakland, old school venue that's reopened not too long ago. With a lot of greats played there back in the day. I think even James Brown played at this place, the Continental Club in Oakland. And so they do all kinds of music as well. We're playing there on the 9th, Wednesday night. And let's see. And then the 12th is Music City Full Band Collectivity show. That's going to be super fun.
Yeah.
Then I think the next thing is the tour coming up 17th through 19th of April in August, and that's the DJ guitar hybrid thing.
That's so cool.
And then after that, we go right to Jazz Fest, and we're playing a bunch of shows at Jazz Fest with this artist, Lyrics Born, that I tour with, and I've been touring with him for probably 6 or 7 years now, maybe
Isn't
longer.
he like a rap artist? Or?
Yeah, he's a hip-hop artist from the Bay.
Right.
He's a longtime Bay Area staple, and his new album came out, and it's fire, and I got to play on a track on that. And we just he's been getting a lot of love from Snoop Dogg. He shared some of his videos on his main page, which just caused Lyrics Born to even go farther. And so we're opening for Soul Live at the Joy Theater in New Orleans, and then we're playing at legendary Tipitina's, opening for Galactic. That's at the end of April. And then we're doing a set at the Blue Nile on the May 1st. And so that, what a great month, man. It's so many different things. I don't know how I'm going to keep track of it. It's barely hanging on. Yeah. But it's a blessing, and I'm just so grateful. I just really put a lot of time into like thinking about gratitude and and making sure that I'd crush it and do my best, because that's a lot of different music to have under your fingers.
It is. And I mean, a tribute to your versatility as well, you know what I mean, and your multi-dimensionality as well, that you can kind of cross genres and play a lot of different music and kind of, be in the forefront as well. You're very skilled as well, so which is awesome. So that's what's going on now. That's a lot. And so your career is evolving in many ways, and these are interesting times. We need music now more than ever, so that's a good thing for musicians, in my opinion, because people are going to need the vibration of music.
Yes.
Yeah, so keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just thinking a couple other big things were High Sierra Music Festival coming up.
Right. You've played in a lot of different great venues, right?
Yeah.
A lot of festivals and so on and so forth. So go ahead, Sierra.
Yeah. High Sierra Music Festival is coming up, and then another big one that was coming up with that. Oh, if I think of it, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure to mention that, because that's one of my favorite festivals. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm playing with like 2 different bands there, 3 different sets for that festival.
Right. And so festival season really kind of is at the end of the summer sometimes too, right? I know it's throughout the summer, but you've played at festivals and big venues, outdoor venues, and throughout the country, and also you tour as well, right? You've toured in the past, different countries. Talk a little bit about that experience, like where your career has been in the past. Obviously, we know we're kind of flip-flopping. We know what you're doing now and what you have coming, which sounds really exciting. But you've done some really amazing stuff in the past too.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I have gotten to travel and tour a lot, and it's amazing what music allows you to get to do. Sometimes I look around and I'm like, I cannot believe I'm here right now, and it's because I'm there for music, and I met these people that were at the gig, and then we end up on some crazy boat or something, who knows, or in touring and like looking around and be like, I get to see some of the places I've always wanted to go. Yeah. And so sometimes I joke around and say, like, I became a musician just so I could travel, and so I got to tour around the States a lot, and I got to spend a lot of time living abroad. I actually got to live in Shanghai for many years. And I got immersed into the music scene there, and that was a really fascinating place to be. Fascinating music scene there. When I first went, I had no idea there was even a music scene at all. Right. And I got to, and as I started to kind of look around, I started finding some jam session, and I'd find some American or some international musicians, and then I started to unfold this really vibrant, like, thriving music scene there, and started doing gigs in the same way that I do here. Started freelancing. There's like events and weddings and clubs and jazz clubs, and so you have this really international music scene. So that all the working musicians that are full time there are just like people from Europe, people from Africa, people from different parts of Asia, and everything in between. So any given band that you're in, like, yo, can you make it Thursday night? And then everybody will be super international in that band. And so you get all of this influence just as a human from all of these places in the world, and musically. And then it's a very interesting perspective on American music, because that's kind of a big foundation for a lot of the music that people play around the world, and that was also influenced by so much from around the world as well. It's a bit of tangent, but it's so fascinating, and I was so lucky to be able to do that. And then you're also in this place where it's a foreign place. China's pretty different, even though Shanghai's very international. Like, it's like Tokyo. It's a super buzzing city, and so you get shoot. What was I saying? Sorry, I do that sometimes. I had a point to that whole thing. Yeah. And so you get all this influence from people, and then you also get just being in that city.
Right.
And that's what I was getting to. The community is really tight because everybody's like, well, we're already in China anyway. This is already like a weird place.
Right.
And so you get these musicians that come through that will be touring, like that will come through to play the club, and it's a lot easier to kind of connect with them because they're also like in China. Whereas like if somebody like Andy Summers played in New York, it would be a lot harder. But if he's in China, like he's playing at this club, and you can kind of like, so I met a lot of people through that.
Yeah. So you have more direct contact that way.
It's a little, because they're also like, I don't know where I'm at.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody's kind of a foreigner there. Or, except for obviously the natives that are there.
Right.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings
everyone together. Right. Yeah.
And so I learned a lot from being there. I got a lot of influence from and a lot
from
of
the culture itself, or from just playing with a lot of different kinds of people.
Musically, because there was jam sessions that would start at 2 a.m. and go till like sunrise. I walked out of Jay-Z Club so many times as the sun was coming up, and then you can keep going if you wanted to. It was like old school New York early jazz days that you hear about, and so I got the influence to like go play a lot, and then you would have all these musicians from New York or people that were touring that would stop through. So you're getting you're getting people that are just like, they kind of wanted to leave New York for a little while.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot while I was there. I got to play in this Mauritius band, which is this little island in the Indian Ocean off the coast of Madagascar. So it's like a part of Africa. And there's a lot of musicians from Mauritius that lived in Shanghai, and they have this music called the Sega, which is like this certain kind of rhythm where the accent is on the middle triplet, like and that was really hard for me at first, but I'd never really been exposed to that, and so I got to play in their band, and like I had to study that rhythm super hard, but I got it, and stuff like that. So
so it
really interesting.
Yeah, so it really expands your own artistry, right? Your own talent as an artist, your own musicianship.
That was a big period. That exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly.
And probably your writing. It just overall. Yeah, kind of expands who you are as an artist. Yeah,
for sure.
That's amazing. So, do you have a particular performance, like a memorable performance that you thought was like pivotal, or is it really just sort of the conglomeration of all of them?
You mean in life, or
in life?
From that time?
Yeah, in general. Yeah, or in general throughout your career.
The next one. No, I'm joking. Pivotal performance.
The next one.
I mean, yeah.
Of course.
I'll get it right one of these days. Almost there. Well, getting to play at some arena shows were really special. Learning how to run an arena rig, learning like the logistics of what that experience is like. I learned a lot from that. Some of my earlier ones, like getting to play at Beijing Arena, and opening for Larry Graham at Shanghai Stadium. Wow. That was one of the bigger ones.
Yeah. So there were like how many thousands of people there?
Probably like 10,000 people.
Yeah, wow. That must be like exhilarating to a degree.
Super exhilarating.
Yeah.
And opening for like a hero.
Yes.
And who's a Bay Area native, and at that time I had just moved here, but I was still going back and forth a lot. Those were really special. We got to do some really cool shows when we were in Germany with Collectivity, on tour there. And let me think. You want to know one really good one?
Yeah, I do.
There's a lot of really fun ones and bigger shows and touring and all of that stuff that I could talk about, but I didn't realize this happened till later. But one of my very first times performing, because like I almost failed out of school, but out of high school, and it's not because I wasn't smart enough. It's because I just I was just being a knucklehead, and so. They were like, when they almost found out, they were like, you have to join the jazz band, which was a beautiful thing for them to do.
That's like a punishment.
Yeah. Or whatever.
Well, you need credit, so you got to.
But yeah, exactly. They're like, punish me, you got to join the jazz band. You got to wear you got to tuck your shirt into your boxers. Okay, so. And then we did this, and I had a great music director, and music is the great healer, which I truly believe in. We can talk about that, good. Yeah. And so somebody was smart enough to be like, he should get more into music, because I was already playing by then, and I was already like able to play from an early age. And then I learned really quick, and then I was 17, and it was impressive then, and then I just leveled out, and so it stayed the same from there on out.
It did not. It seemed to.
But yeah, right. So I got to do this, you know, a recital for the jazz band, and we did Maria Maria, which has that part that's like that famous guitar part. So I was playing the lead guitar for that, and I was maybe 16, 17, and I'd never performed really before. I mean, I was kind of going to some sessions and stuff, but and that part came on, and the audience, like the audience just like went nuts and started cheering, and I had no idea that was going to happen. I had never experienced that before, and I was just like I had this energy, and like I think that was the moment where I was like, well, I know what I'm doing for a living for the rest of my life. So
during that is the moment
was the moment
that it was apparent to you that
when I was like, hold
you
on,
were in the right place.
People will react like that when you do this thing on this
thing.
Instrument, that I'm doing the right thing.
How beautiful.
I didn't realize that until years later, that was pretty impactful.
Wow, that's a beautiful story. I love that.
Right.
It's like you put out, you know, your energy and you get energy back, right? Like you're putting out this energy of music and your talent, and almost immediately you got a response to that. It's kind of how the universe works, don't you think?
It is.
Yeah.
Definitely is. Especially when you are tuned into recognizing it instead of kind of ignoring it.
Exactly.
You know?
What you did, you recognized it, and now you're even recognizing it in hindsight on a deeper level. So that's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. So that's amazing. Okay. What else do I want to ask? Yeah. So we talked a little bit about. Well, I wanted to ask also, like, we talked a little bit about, like, always trying to chase that, like, perfect kind of either tone or that perfect experience or whatever. So what are you dreaming up right now in your imagination for your music? Or do you not do that and you just go with the flow? You just stay in the moment and create in the moment and let that carry you? Or are you dreaming of, like, where you'd like to... you're dreaming?
I was just kind of contemplating that. Like,
what's your, like, how do you approach
that's a great question.
Creation? You know, your creative, process. You know, everyone does it a little bit different, and I love that. I love learning about people's how they live that creative life.
So for me right now, I have been connecting with a lot of things in life in general, and kind of had some major things that happen that I've experienced lately that helped me to see things in a lot different way, and helped me to reflect in many different ways. And that's part of the new solo record that I have coming out, is a big part of that. And so for that, I'm really trying to intentionally write in a way that is more emotional and that is more true to a certain part of myself that I haven't written from before. And that's been really, really healing. And instead of, usually I write to a lot of uplift. I want things to be uplifting. With Collectivity, it's coming from a really fun and bringing people together, obviously, which is similar to the name. But for this album, I'm kind of like using it as a reflection for my own self, which in turn is allowing me to come up with some music that might identify with, other people might identify with as well. And I've really been enjoying going through that introspective journey and using music as a healing tool for myself, with also the intention that the more true I can be to what I want to do, not in a selfish way, of course, but that is a vehicle and a catalyst for it having more potential to touch other people. And so that has been just so incredible, so fun, and it feels really good.
It's beautiful. It's like discovering a secret, like in an interior level, you know what I mean? And then going, wow. Yeah, there's that. Exactly, there's that part of myself as well. There's that level of myself too that I can create from. That is incredibly satisfying. And like you said, it's not about selfishness. It's not a personal, kind of thing, but it is deeply personal at the same time, simultaneously. Yeah.
It's like that thing where the more full you are, the more you can actually give to other people. The more you can give of yourself. Right. Sometimes you can spread yourself too thin, and then you're not really actually doing the thing you're trying to do. So the more you take time to really fill your own well, the more you can be there for others. And I've been, and music is that's the reason that I started playing music.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot easier to see that stuff when you're like 12, when you don't have the pressures
all the conditioning
of regular
and
life.
the pressures, yeah.
And just the knowledge of like how the world works,
Exactly.
and when you get older, and so you're just like, I want to heal everyone, and then you get older and you're like, oh, that's, it might not be that easy, and so it's kind of like getting back to the essence of music, and then what art and music is for society, and what has been throughout history.
Yeah.
Is all of that stuff, and that's really important, which is like as a healing tool.
Yes.
And it's what a gift.
Yeah.
And it's just right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you so much. Yeah. And I feel that in your music, even though maybe you're coming into the fuller or deeper awareness of that, and this solo album, like you said, is a reflection of that. But to me, music is a healing art. It can be used that way, whether it's extroverted, where you're collectively getting people together,
absolutely,
or
also
whether it's
very
more of
healing.
an interior calling as well.
Right.
Yeah, we're both exterior and interior.
Yeah, we all know how good it feels to go dancing and partying.
Exactly.
And down,
yeah, but to sit with yourself is also a beautiful experience. The deeper you are, the deeper the experience is for you on the outside as well. So. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to hearing your new album. How far along are you on it? Yeah, tell me about your process, your recording process a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, and what that's going to look like for this new album.
Yeah.
Have you have a title for it? You don't have to tell me now, but
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, got
We're
it.
leaning towards Paradise or Prison.
Oh, interesting.
But we'll see. We'll see how it unfolds. That's one of the song titles for sure, but we'll see, because I feel like it might change, because I had a really beautiful session. There's 4 songs done so far. Okay. There's maybe 6 more to go. They're already written. A lot of the music is already written, and so I've got like 100 tunes, And then so the process has been kind of just like with a lot of art. I'm sure you can agree. Sometimes you just have to decide that you're done, because I could keep working on this painting. And I was just like, no, it's done. I think that music is a lot the same way, and so I just constantly am writing and making stuff often, and I do a lot of stuff and make demos, and sometimes I write just with the guitar and write it out like on music paper to remember it, and then sometimes I like produce, and anything in between, and start songs different ways. A lot of times I start with a groove, or sometimes I'll come up with just a guitar riff and then build it around there. So I have a bit of a creative process, but I don't have a specific exact order or something that I do stuff in. But I am a big proponent. What works for me is like just kind of like dump, like get all the ideas out, and then you kind of sort through it, and then that's the craft. Because there's like the inspirational part for me, which and then sometimes that just doesn't happen, and sometimes you can write the best stuff you've written with just a slog, and then sometimes it's just like boom, 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 the whole thing comes out, and then most of the time it's somewhere in between the two for me, I think, where there's like this moment of inspiration, you get like 1 or 2 little ideas, and then after you've done it for a while, you learn that craft is like, oh, cool, two little sparks of pure inspiration from whatever realm, I can work with that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, cool, now I can craft it, which is also beautiful and inspirational, but it might not be coming from that spark where you're just like, I don't even know where that came from. So it's a lot about the process of learning how to work with those elements that you have, and every artist has their own process. So that's really helpful for me. And then I just think if I'm trying to come up with ideas, I feel like there's the writing phase. If I'm producing a track, there's like the creation part, and then there's the craft part. And so if I'm in the creation part, I want to have a logistics that I don't get held up too much in the craft part. Like I don't want to be searching for a sound forever. I want to have some stuff ready to go. And even though I know like, oh, that's not going to be like that, but I need to get it out right now. And then you end up with this thing, and then you whittle that down. I like that method, and I think a lot of people probably go that way. And then over time, you develop, you practice your craft as well. Yeah. So that's why I write so much, even though I know that maybe some of it's never going to see the light of day. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the practice of the craft of write. You have to write, otherwise you get rusty, and then you have to play as well. Yeah. So both of them.
Right.
amazing. So you have a very rich life. And so what's the question I want to ask? See if I can word it the right way. What would make you like feel, if you know, like that sense of like complete satisfaction or joy, like in your work? Like, is there something, I know that I was kind of alluding to like that, chasing that particular, not that we were chasing it, but like there's like a seed or some sort of idea that kind of lives inside of each of us in some way, that if I could do this, or if I can create this, then
that's a really good question.
Yeah, there would be just such joy in my heart, almost like, yeah, I'm done, but like that's it, you know. Is there something like that for you? Yeah.
Think about that a little.
Yeah. Take your time.
I love that question. I think there's a lot of layers to that.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. You have really good questions. You have some great topics. So I don't think that I'll ever get there where it's like I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, maybe. But I right now I don't think so, and it's not because the goal, like the process is the beautiful part.
Exactly.
And like you just learn more about it.
It's
and,
always the journey, right?
It's always the journey.
There's no end.
Yeah. So the part that you get to, and it changes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
but there always does seem to be like sort of a, like you were talking a little bit about, I really relate to that, sort of like that thing that's calling you, you know, to some degree. Something's calling you, an idea, right? And then you have to go, you know. If you don't, you suffer. Right? So you have to go for it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it doesn't. You mistakenly think that that's the thing, but it's not. It's just the calling for the moment, you know, calling for the now, you know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then you do it. And then there's the next thing.
And then you're like, hold on, well, I thought I just did that thing. What are you talking? I still got the calling. I think that's true, but that's the part. That's the best. That is
the best.
And then you learn about it, like after, you know, it can be frustrating.
Exactly.
But recently, really reasonable, you know, and it's a constant evolution.
It is, and that's what it is, and a constant evolution, a constant expansion.
Yeah.
That's like almost orgasmic in many ways, right?
Yeah.
It's like
for sure. It all ties back around.
Yeah. Oh, the guitar. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, our cameraman is pointing to the guitar. That's a good way to end this as well, since we're already over about 45 minutes.
Oh, wow. That went right quick.
Yeah, it did.
Super interesting.
Yes, really enjoyed our conversation.
Cool.
I have
Me
so
too.
many more questions, but this would go
Right
on much longer than we have. And but I so enjoyed you kind of pouring your heart out and telling me your truth and really just telling me about your music. So I'm sure the audience and the readers of AKR Magazine and whoever comes on board to read and look at your music or hear your music will love this as well.
Well, I really appreciate it. Thanks to everybody for checking it out. And it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. And if there's any last words you want to say, if there's a message you want to give, you know, the 4.5 million readers.
Oh, wow. Put me on the spot. Oh, no.
Per issue. That, you know, tend to flip through the magazine and read the articles that they're most interested in. And I will tell you that the music interviews are probably the most popular part of the magazine. People love it's a high-end audio magazine, so people love the high-end audio part, but they love it because they love music. Yeah, that's the passion behind it. So
yeah, I love high-end audio.
Well, who doesn't want to hear music that way, you know? But yeah.
Fellow music nerd here, self-proclaimed.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I just really appreciate people reaching out, or you know, seeking this out, being a part of this music and this community, and just the first thing that comes to my mind is how important like community is, and the people that are around us that we love. That is so like kind of like, you know, it's so easy to be divided. It's so easy to be distracted these days. Yeah. And and everybody's processing that in their own way, and I feel a lot of different shifts in energy in the world, and there's so many beautiful ones and some that are more difficult, and so we just focus on those those beautiful ones, and music and art are 100% undoubtedly part of the good energy of the world and the planet.
Yeah.
And then you just find those people that are in tune and aligned with that, and then you got to be real careful about the people that aren't aligned with your energy and that kind of good force. And so, not to get all woohoo, but that has been really important. And so and just kind of really valuing music and art's connection to that as people, especially nowadays.
I agree.
Where music and art bring people together, not the other way around.
Exactly.
You know,
it's such a uniting, healing force, like you mentioned so many times throughout your interview, and that sort of intention of yours is to kind of play your part in it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ben, Misterka. Yeah, it's been an honor. So,
honor for me too.
Yeah. So, as a farewell to our readers,
oh sure.
Yeah, if you would play a little tune, that would be awesome.
Absolutely. So there's a little one, that first one that it's a little quick ear tune. So there's the tune that comes to mind is this tune off my new record called Taipei. I'll play a little piece of that. And then a little piece of something funky.
Right. Thank you, Ben.